if you go up to a random 20-year-old, right, and you'd be like, who are you? Or what do you want to be? Crickets. And they expect to get in a relationship?
Yeah.
These motherfuckers are crazy.
These people want to have kids before they know what they want to do.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm worried.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, if that's who you are, that's cool. I know some people who have a kid, but obviously they have this passion, this drive, and this focused goal. So those are the type of people that got their shit on straight.
Like, it's not just...
They're not just like mindlessly wandering around. Oh, yeah, I woke up today. I want a kid. Like, they thought hard about it. They're with someone that they love, not just some random person they met on a night out. And they have a vision, you know. And some people just want a kid and don't have a vision, or they want to get into like some long-term relationship and they don't even know themselves. Like, how does that? Because you're bound to get into a disaster if you don't know yourself and if you try to get in a relationship. All right. Oh. You already know I'm hype for this. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Renaissance Podcast. I'm here today with, of course, Mr. Ryan Hemingway.
Hiya.
How's it going, man?
I'm good.
Yeah. I'm doing good, man. Obviously, we're in a national lockdown as we recording this, which, by the way, we're socially distanced. This is for educational purposes because, of course, we're educating you, the people. Now, today we're talking about careers, dating, and just overall like the world and its current state, and of course social media as well. Now, we've had some conversations about this in the past, obviously not recorded conversations. Now, I feel like I want to have you on because, number one, the reason why I know Ryan is because we're going to work together on a project which is remaining untitled because I don't want to spoil anything, and also you're in the film industry as well. You aspire to be in the film industry, and on top of that you're just a cool guy, man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate it, man.
Well, of course, man, you earned it, man. Obviously, I don't want to have anyone on this show that I don't have respect for, you know?
Yeah.
So, man, where do we begin? Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to talk about dating, career, the toxic people in the film industry? What do you want to talk about first? Social media?
Let's go with social media, I think. That's quite fresh, isn't it?
Do you think social media has done more good for the world, or do you think it's done more evil? What do you say?
The thing is, with social media, it can be used for good.
Yeah.
But in the wrong hands or in malicious kind of ways, it can do a lot worse than good. You know what I mean? And
propaganda?
Yeah, propaganda. But also, when people see propaganda, they think, oh, you mean maybe Republican propaganda, or maybe even people saying leftists and people left wing, right wing.
Yeah.
I think it just creates a lot of division because it's like during World War II, if everyone had like social media, can you imagine? I don't think it would. It wouldn't end.
I think we would be even more of a weaker generation than we are right now. Because obviously World War II, people had to toughen up. They didn't have a choice. Yeah. And right now we have the luxury of sitting back, tweeting a load of shit and not have any consequences. Escapism as well.
It's social escapism in a way. But I think a lot of the people that are affected by social media are people who rely on it to feed off their emotions and like crisis, like especially during COVID. We're encouraged to use social media. Yeah. And I think it's been used for good. You look at George Floyd, you look at Black Lives Matter, I think that's a positive example. But when you look at, I don't know, you talk about Lewis Hamilton. So you're talking about Lewis Hamilton in terms of, do you feel like he's fake as far as people go?
All right. A little bit of context for those watching right now. Before we recorded, we talked a little bit about Lewis Hamilton, and obviously because shout out Ferrari, even though they'll probably never sponsor me. Now Lewis Hamilton, very talented, very fucking good at what he does, and obviously congratulations on his 7th championship win. Now, as a person, there's some people like Lewis Hamilton. Even though he's cool as a driver, I respect the talent, I respect the hustle. He really works hard for success. Sometimes I just get the feeling, and not just him, people like that. It's just a bit. They have this, virtue signaling, where they try to, look at me, I'm a great person. Look at all the things that I really care about the world, but the actions, they don't match with it. Because I know he put out a tweet one time. I don't remember when this is, but he said, no social media. No phone, I just went on a boat ride with my dog or something like that, and just had a good time and thought about how much of the world is in a bad state. But I mean, he obviously talks about climate change as well. But I mean, he was on a boat, like a private boat,
Private jet,
and a private jet. Does he have his own jet as well?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has a private jet.
And on top of that, I know he's a Formula One driver, but obviously can't really do much about the carbon emissions that come out of obviously the Formula One. But his day-to-day activities, so for example, like taking his own jet, a private boat, and living that luxurious life, it doesn't match with what he's trying to say, you know?
It's a common trend, I think, with a lot of celebrities, or I guess the blue tick people.
Yeah. Blue tick people.
What I mean, you know what I mean by that? Like,
yeah.
People, the thing about social media is it's all visual. People like to think of it as a common thing that I've noticed, that the more likes you have, or the more validity you get, it's based off your current status already. So you can be someone like Donald Trump who has a blue tick, right? Okay, I won't go too much into it, but like
go for everyone.
He tweets like a lot, and everyone becomes desensitized to that kind of thing. And I think a lot of celebrities with that blue tick, they get put in this category of people who are sort of anything they say is like a lot of, I don't know, Hollywood is doing this thing where they're doing a lot of activism through social media. I think it's good, but it's about why though? Like,
feed their ego.
Yeah.
And to make themselves, okay, this is where it gets interesting. Everyone thinks they're such a good person, but do you think, okay, this is a personal question, do you yourself think you're a good person?
I think I have good moral compass, yeah. I don't think it's been utilised as much as I could do, but that's, through my career I could change that. But I'm only 20 years old, so... You'll
have plenty of time to grow as well, plenty of things to learn,
definitely.
And obviously plenty of people to meet. Because social media, like, so many people want to be good people so much. And I get it. Everyone wants to be the hero of their own story. And I know you said you have a good moral compass and all that kind of stuff, but I actually don't see myself as a good person.
Really?
No, I don't. Because I think the way I grew up, I was always portrayed as a villain. Because I was, he's not, brown enough for this and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, religious reasons. So religiously, I could be considered a villain because I don't pray, I don't do all this, religious stuff. You might consider me a good person, but another person that may have something bad to say to me consider me some type of villain, which is very interesting because you have different perspectives. But I don't consider myself evil either. So I don't consider myself both good or bad, but I consider myself real because I say what's from the heart. And even though sometimes it may not be right, I mean, at least I mean it. I don't have to sugarcoat anything. I don't have to lie about anything. I could look at someone dead in the eye and be like, look, this is how I feel. And if they don't like it, then that's okay because at least it's me, at least who I am. And that's why when it comes to my projects, obviously it's very dark. It's a very vulnerable side of me. And it got some dislikes. Shout out to the people who dislike my videos. But at least that's okay. But I'm glad though because it shows, freedom of speech. It shows like they have the right to voice their opinion. If they don't like me, they don't like me. If they love me, they love me. But I don't see myself as a good person. I see myself as an evil person. I just see myself as someone that's real. I just want to make sure that whatever I do, at least I somehow change the world in some way, shape, or form. It may not take a year, it may not take a decade, it may take decades, or maybe I might be the person that sparks a change within someone who makes a change of the world. Spark the brain that changes the world. Hopefully, but it gets interesting because obviously the generation before us. They obviously see us as ungrateful and have it easy and all that kind of stuff. Do you think that previous generations had it more difficult than us, or do you think we have it harder? Like our parents' generation?
Yeah, I think it's difficult because I think everything's relative to. I don't think we could comprehend what it was like for them. I guess our grandparents or maybe our parents. A lot can change in 40 or so years. Obviously, social media's come about, and we discuss if that's a good thing or not. And I think we don't know yet. We're gonna. I think in about 10 or 20, getting a bit.
When we get older, we'll
Elon
understand.
Musk,
Yeah,
he's been saying all this time that stuff like that, AI, by the time we're older, maybe that will be the next thing for the next generation. And privacy and all. But I think we're so desensitized to stuff right now. And I think that's what our generation's problem is. We're so desensitized to violence. And I can talk about, it's weird because I disagree with the fact that, or the statement that video games cause violence.
Yeah, I disagree with that as well.
At the same time, right, I believe that we can be desensitized through media in a form. But so I'm conflicted in that sense. Because I did an essay on this, a video essay on this with Razvan earlier on.
Shout out Razvan, by the way. If he's watching this.
He's great. We did a project on this, and it was about GTA 5 and stuff. But I think a lot of our problems lie in desensitization. And obviously we're becoming quite converged in like culturally and stuff. And like we're really aware of like a lot of the social problems, whereas I doubt 20-year-old like our parents would have they might have cared, but they might not be aware. Ignorance is bliss sometimes, and I think it's not okay to be ignorant about subjects, but we've made so much awareness about stuff that we don't, we'll change this. We think, it's just part of society now, and shout out to them every few years, it's kind of dark in that sense, Black Mirror-ish kind of thing. But
it's very, our world of Black Mirror is very aligned.
Yeah.
But you know what they say, art imitates life anyway.
It does.
So, I mean, Black Mirror, it's just a reflection of who we are. And, if it wasn't, then it wouldn't be Black Mirror, But you mentioned, like, generations and, like, our parents and whatnot, and just desensitizing, obviously the media, like, desensitizing us. Do you think we lack empathy compared to our previous generation, or do you think we built upon the empathy from the previous generation? So do you think we're more empathetic compared to our parents, or do you think we're not?
Again, I think this is a personal experience. I believe that we're less empathetic.
Do you think so?
I think we're far less empathetic because I think we show. Goes back to like we can show sympathy.
But you don't live it.
A lot of our generation is all about show, don't tell. And that is causing a big problem. Like, I just look at our generation. I can't imagine us being in charge. Like,
you think so?
No, I can't imagine. I guess every generation has this thing, but as I've got older, you think they know what they're doing. You think the government knows what they're doing. Shout out to Boris, okay?
Shout out to Mojo.
Then you get to that point, and you realize even your parents are worried, and they're kind of clueless about what's going on, and you feel less security in that way. And I think we've become desensitized. And if we're morally showing that we're I feel this way about a certain subject, but that's how it is.
That's crazy.
I'm not saying that's how I think it is or how it should be, but I think that's just how it is.
I do get your mindset though, because people have that fake it till you make it approach.
Yeah.
But I don't believe in. I know some people think
you have
to
places.
Fake it till you make it. I don't believe it. I think you have to work for it till you become it, type of thing. And I know you think we become less empathetic, but I think because of my personal experience, with my culture that I grew up in, with my parents, my upbringing, they don't know how to express their emotions. Right. And I noticed that the older generation can't really express themselves as much. They never really had that outlet. Because how many brown filmmakers do you know? Because they all became doctors and lawyers. That's the thing.
True,
they're not allowed to become filmmakers or artists because it's frowned upon. Because it's not a real job. Whatever the fuck that means, But I think we become more empathetic because with the rise of social media and the rise of mental health, I know some people use it as a trend, but people are more aware of it because obviously social media has been very beneficial in making it trend, in making it raising awareness. I know raising awareness doesn't do everything, but it gives you an insight that other people are going through the same thing. And if because YouTube counts as social media, so if social media was not in our generation, there will be no Renaissance. There would not be this. Like, this is a mental health podcast as well. So amazing. Like, we're literally doing our part in helping not only this generation, but the generation that comes after us and the generations after that, because they take this message. They'll be like, oh, this is what he was thinking when he was 20 years old. Let me add on to that. And then the next generation will add on to that. And they keep building and building. You can say the same with art as well. Art's never finished. It's always left incomplete for someone to keep adding on to. And it just keeps going on and on and on, and hopefully keep developing. But another topic I want to discuss is obviously we're both the same age. You're 20, right?
I'm 20, yeah.
You're getting old. I was saying I'm 21 next month. Well, we're 21 next month by the time I'm recording this. But this I've been finding this very difficult to do recently. Well, difficult in general. But dating. Your face just changed. Yeah. What do you think of... how would you say your dating experience has been within the past... Well, as long as you lived, basically.
It hasn't been traditional. It hasn't been the traditional, like, what you see. I guess everyone will say that, though. I think that's the thing about it. It's been kind of... I say non-existent. It's been very, like, tame. Like, I've been here and there, but at the same time, my experience has kind of, like, led me to this point where I don't think it's worth it.
I get you. I totally get you.
So, like, I haven't got to a point where I've had to rely on someone as much.
Yeah.
I feel like people either are looking for something to rely on. There's people who constantly are in relationships and people who are never in them. And I guess there's in between. It's not that black and white or binary. But at least for me, I feel like I'm not in any category. But at the moment, I just don't think
it's something beneficial.
Like, it's not been beneficial. I think monetary value, I can see some people benefiting from that. Like monetary, I don't know. Some people, I think, not even monetary, like situational. You're living with someone, or it's just you have an emotional connection with someone, so you decide that person is your soulmate. I think sometimes that's how it works. I don't think it's always. I don't really believe in soulmates either.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
That's a little fucking bullshit. Thanks, Disney. Fucking pricks. They're feeding us bullshit.
It goes back to, I have this, it's not my philosophy, but I like to think that someone said to me that men are sold sex and women are sold romance. So in that sense,
that's good philosophy.
Would you agree with that? Like,
I agree because OnlyFans, clear trend. Like guys are sell sex and like I feel like the reason why guys buy OnlyFans and compared to like traditional porn is because they have that emotional connection to the person who's selling the OnlyFans because they have an actual engagement with them. Because obviously pornography, you don't engage, like they don't address you whatsoever. Well, unless it's like a breaking the fourth wall type of thing. If you're into that kinky shit, then, I'm not going to judge or anything. But it's just OnlyFans. Obviously, you talk to a girl, but it's not like a real relationship. You just get acknowledged by, unless you're a fucking simp. No, don't shout out to simps.
There's a lot of things.
Shout out to the simps. But you have that connection to the person selling you whatever it is, a photo, video. I don't know what they do with OnlyFans. But I feel like that's why people are into it, because of that connection. And they sold the idea of love and sex and whatnot. So it's like a mix in between, because obviously said men are promised sex. But I feel like it's a hybrid between sex and intimacy, depending on who you are, obviously. And obviously, a woman, they're sold this idea of romance. But the thing is they don't want to work for it, man. They expect things to happen. So obviously, not all of them, just to clarify. But a load of girls that I've personally had to date, obviously, you might have dated as well, and obviously some others, they just want things so quickly. And then even when they get it, it's like, I don't want this.
The chase. It goes back to the chase and stuff. On a primal level, I don't know why it happens, but I guess I'm not one to, at least right now. I mean, I'm only 20 years old. I feel like a lot of people talk about dating as if you should be in a certain place. There's people getting married right now. There's people, and and I'm not judging. Like, I think you can't.
Your brain isn't fully developed until you're 25.
Really?
Yeah.
25.
And like people don't really know them, because if you go up to a random 20-year-old, right, and you'd be like, "Who are you?" or "What do you want to be?" Crickets. And they expect to get in a relationship.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers are crazy.
These people want to have kids before they know what they want to do.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, if that's who you are, that's cool. And obviously, I know some people who have a kid, but obviously they have this passion, this drive, and this focused goal. So those are the type of people that got their shit on straight.
Like, it's not just...
they're not just like mindlessly wandering around. Oh, yeah, I woke up today. I want a kid. Like, they thought hard about it. They're with someone that they love, not just some random person they met on a night out. And they have a vision, And some people just want a kid and don't have a vision, or they want to get into like some long-term relationship and they don't even know themselves. Like, how does that? Because you're bound to get into a disaster if you don't know yourself and if you try to get in a relationship. But there is some people who can help you find yourself or help you build yourself. But most times people are worried about their own shit. So it's interesting, the whole men and women debate. Well, not debate, discussion. Like, obviously, women are sold romance, men are sold sex. To me, it's a hybrid in between. They both need it.
And just look at Tinder.
Yeah.
I think,
God, don't talk about that shit.
Yeah, it's not like men and women are like...
They're not talking to each other.
It's equally as bad. I think, and it's not really our fault. I think it's the way we marketed stuff. We just marketed this idea that, you know, girls look at Disney princesses, they get saved by the guy. And it's always that game of the chase and stuff like that. And I think the world that we live in isn't a reflection of that. I think maybe 100 years, maybe 50 even years ago, our parents, they had no idea that right now it's so volatile. Like, with careers, you want to know what you want to do. Maybe 50 years ago, you would have a set path because a lot of people were traditionalists back then. But we don't have any traditionalist values, at least our generation doesn't.
Unless if you're from religion, I guess, but that's it.
Yeah, I think that's another thing. I think religious values and stuff like that are also being not destroyed, but I think they're kind of filtering out slowly. I know a lot of atheists, or maybe not atheists, but agnostics.
Agnostic, yeah. I'm spiritual in that sense. Yeah,
I get what you mean though, but is there a higher power? I don't know. We're a very questioning generation, whereas I don't think our parents were.
They just accepted how it was.
And I think that's where it goes to dating as well. We have literally no guidance because we're expected to know what we want to do, but we don't. Especially if we're all in the same boat, then
we're all about to sink together.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in this together at least. You know?
We've got climate change coming. Apparently, we've only got 10 years to save it and stuff like that.
Hopefully I can change the world in 10 years with my art, but who knows? Who knows? I mean, I don't know. Obviously, death is another thing as well. Who knows how long we'll be here for? Obviously, shit can just happen like that. And when it comes to, you mentioned Tinder. So it's like, have you had Tinder before? I know it's a personal question.
I downloaded it once, and I've also been put on it as a joke by my mates years ago.
But not proper.
I've never seen it as a serious thing.
The thing is, I've been on Tinder a few times. Well, actually, loads of times, actually, for the past. I get lonely. But obviously, I want to meet people. I just want to see who's out there, instead of like randomly pursuing someone. Like, if I see someone attractive down the street that looks at my age, and I just go up to them and talk to them, it's just a bit... It's more admirable, but it's just like,
just
it's more...
a moment. Your friends can find you now.
What? Siri, shut up!
What was that?
I don't know, Siri, I don't know why Siri just went on the mad one. See?
Yeah.
Obviously, you mentioned Elon Musk and a fucking AI. But back to my topic. Obviously, approaching a girl in person. I've done it loads of times. I just cold approach this girl. Is more admirable. But you're putting yourself... You're automatically in a lower position compared to her. So she's here and you're here, and it's like you're already in a bit of a sticky one because you have to make sure that like you're kind of leveled out, and she doesn't know you, but she knows you want something because you're coming to her, and it's just most of the times it wouldn't work unless if you obviously really really handsome or some shit like that, or if you're really famous actually. If you're just a random guy, it wouldn't work. I mean, it wouldn't work on me. I'm just some guy. Who's pretty fly, but but Tinder's very difficult because from my experience, just to give you an insight on Tinder, you match with loads of people, but they don't speak to you.
Right.
Or they may speak to you for like 3 messages, 4 messages. Don't want to say anything else.
You,
like,
you have to initiate the conversation.
You have to initiate the conversation. If you're a guy, you initiate the conversation. Unless if the girl, sometimes girls initiate, but it'll be very, very, very rare.
Bumble doesn't do that though.
Bumble, you have to have 24 hours to apply. You can give them a 24-hour extension for dating. But yeah, you already know I've been experienced with these dating apps and just dating in general. And I'm grateful for it because it really builds character. It really helps you understand what girls want as well. And it also filters out what kind of girl you want to avoid and want to keep as well. It's just been a bit... Dating's been difficult. It's COVID especially. You can't really go out there and talk to people. But you just got to be really, really fucking careful when it comes to... Obviously, guys are a piece of shit as well. I'm sorry to the piece of shit guys. I know I'm probably thinking of that. But it just... Some girls, you just got to watch out because obviously they juggle different options at the same time. And you may think... Obviously, I was very naive back in the day. you may think, oh, she's only speaking to me, you know, just no other guy. But once she finds that extra option to be like, yeah, all right, you're not good enough. Okay, I'm just gonna dish you out, and then she'll filter it out, and then just choose the best one. And then when the best one doesn't work out, she come running back to you and be like, oh, you know, I'm sorry we haven't spoken in a while. You know, how you been? And they always, it's how it is, man. But trust me, there is plenty of great women out there, but I feel like you wouldn't find them on. It's very, very, very rare you find them on Tinder. I think. My opinion.
I do believe people genuinely find real connections through Tinder and stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
I just don't think I've never been into it.
There's no need. Trust me, you don't want to waste your time. Yeah.
I mean, in that sense, it's all about priorities, I guess. You've got to work on yourself before you obviously go into that thing. So, I mean, some people don't. It's not that binary. Again, it's like, what is dating at this, like, in COVID? I think if you look at it as a means to an end, like, if you keep on viewing people as like, okay, am I going to marry the next person I see? Am I going to marry them? Next person I'm going to get with, am I going to marry them? And I think some people have that, and some people don't. I think I'm just like on the fly. If I meet someone at books or I don't know, anywhere, it's a human connection. I'm not really good through texting either, like, or digital stuff mostly. Ironic because I do media. But
I do social media detox. I don't know. Yes, like that.
Yeah. I think that's how it is.
But I just it's difficult thing, but you just got to keep working on yourself and whatnot. I know people say, you know, keep working on yourself, keep building on yourself. But when's that point where you realize, okay, I'm done building myself. Now I'm ready to come out. Do you know, when do you think is that point to be like, okay, I'm ready? You know, when do you think that could be?
Ready for?
Just staying. So do you think you need to be financially stable? Or do you think you don't have to be financially stable? You can just go out there?
I think everyone says, a lot of people say when they become successful, they would like to settle down, and that's when they don't want to get a family and just like they've reached the pinnacle of their point. But I don't think anyone actually truly finds they're successful or can define once they've settled down. Like even when people are retired, I've worked in old people's home, and I've spoken to them about like what they've done in their life, and it's amazing. But they've never said they've been satisfied fully. They've always said, "Oh, you know, I was planning to do this, and then I became old." And it's like, I think regret is a big thing
because you can't get that time back.
So I think, I don't know. I don't think is there a point at which I want to settle down? I don't think so. At least not now. I mean,
definitely not now.
Yeah, not now.
You are shit ton of come on.
But like, maybe in 20 years' time, I'll think about this again. But honestly, if I have the same mindset, I don't think, there's no point in settling down if at any point. I think you constantly got to find a goal in life. I don't know how you define success. I don't know how anyone defines success.
I think the beauty of it is it's very personal. There's no, people say, what's the meaning of life? You decide what the meaning of life is. I mean, I believe I'm an existentialist, so I provide meaning onto whatever it is, and hence my art being very symbolic. So you provide meaning to whatever you see. But you could be a nihilist and be like, we're going to die anyway. What's the point? And that's it, Or you could be, existentialist, be like, add meaning to it, or more pessimistic and be like, yeah, just do whatever you want and just be happy about it. I think the beauty just define how you want to define it, If you want to become the best filmmaker, do that. If you want to become the best documentary filmmaker or musician or painter or anything, just do it. I mean, it's true, we're going to die anyway. But what about the people after us? Like, we have to make sure that we leave something behind that the people after us can refer to, just in case you ever feel lost in life. Because I guarantee you felt lost in your life at one point. I felt lost in my life. Every motherfucker on this planet felt lost in life. And chances are we probably looked on the internet, or we looked to some, guidance, or if you're religious, the Bible, the Quran or something, as guidance to be like, where do I go? What do I do? Who do I need to see? Some people have mentors, all that kind of stuff. But dating is very fucking difficult, but I feel like it'll get better, hopefully, because the more older you get, the more people start to be more mature.
Sort of experience, I think.
Sort of experience. Yeah. Because you can filter out the bad ones easily. Because if you have more experience on dates, you could be like, I see the red flag. Oh, I'm not going to bother. I think that's it. You just saved yourself a year, which me myself has wasted, But, man, it's fucking crazy. And speaking of career, we're both in the film industry, or about to be in the film industry. What would you say the best part of the film industry is?
I think it's the diversity of ideas, and we have a lot of freedom. We're not bound to like. Everyone has their own thing that they can bring to the table.
Yeah.
It goes into this thing where you can pave yourself plan a career path at any point. Like, at what point do you start thinking about media? Like, I don't remember as a kid thinking what was behind this TV until I started doing sixth form and started actually relying on entertainment a lot and just trying to escape. And I think a lot of it's escapism. I think we as filmmakers, or if we are ever like become really successful filmmakers, I think, which we, of course we will.
That's cool, man. You've got a crown shining on our head.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, man.
I think, it's a lot. I think we can have a lot of drive. I think we have more drive than a lot of other industries. I mean, I don't know. That's not really. I don't know. I'm not trying to flex, but
no, go for it.
Yeah, you look around the Creative Hub, like it's a very collaborative space. There's stuff like
Creative Hub is a university building for creatives.
Oh yeah. I still forgot.
Yeah. We're university, by the way, just to clarify.
So, like, in that sense, I don't know. I was very skeptical of this like a year ago, and I guess I still am, because I don't know. It's very volatile, and it's very like it has drawbacks. But I think the positives are that it can really attract. If you have a vision and you have your idea and you can really stand out, then it can be really good. And you can also use it as a platform for good. I think some jobs and some careers are defined by how you help and change the world around you more than actually how you help yourself. I think a lot of people self-preservationist. They could settle down with something like an office drone, and I see that happen a lot. And you think, how do you end up in that position? I think a lot of people go from having that dream of where they want to be, and then
they start building someone else's dream.
Yeah,
instead, and they just give up on their own.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And they get bribed up. They get bribed by extra hours and an extra paycheck, or what do you call it, a promotion, just to keep forgetting about their dream. And if you're one of those people out there, I'm just saying, like, you motherfuckers need to snap out of it, okay? I'll snap out of it for you, okay? But that's why, I do what I do. I mean, obviously my past, it's not been like the slums. Shout out Lewis Hamilton, he's on the slums.
Stephen, yeah.
But it's been a bit of a struggle. But if without that struggle, I would be just another guy. I wouldn't be doing this because I didn't have a reason to do this. And in my the journey that I'm on, I wouldn't say career because I'm not officially a filmmaker, like a licensed filmmaker, whatever you call it. I haven't made a feature film or nothing like that. I haven't worked with the big dogs or some shit. But as a filmmaker, obviously, when it comes to my journey, and of course your journey, we're bound to meet up with some very similar people. And I feel like there's toxic people in the industry. In the film, in any industry, especially music industry, fashion industry, all that kind of stuff. But in our industry, I know we both have some stories about some toxic people in the industry. So what would you say is your toxic story, like with anyone in the film industry?
I think it's a lot of the stuff that I've heard and experienced through secondhand. Like when you want to look into the industry you're going into, you look for people like role models and stuff.
100%.
When those people say to start, you're gonna have like probably one of the worst time in your career, and you're gonna have to eat shit. I think it's about resilience. I think a lot of people say, of course you got to eat shit. You've got to fake it till you make it, climb the ladder, put a brave face on. And I think that's good. If you have those qualities, you'll do well. If you don't, you'll fall through the cracks, and it will show. And I think it goes into like, would you let people step on you in the industry? And
that's what I mean.
So the first experience I had, I think it was in first year university. This guy came around.
Go on.
This
is a guy we both know. Just clarify.
He was we came into a lecture. I can't remember the module, but it was for short film or something. And he came in and he spoke to all of us about his opportunity that he'd be providing for us. And how as a student you get excited. First year student, you think, okay, paying $9,000 a year, this is extracurricular, this would be for free, it will be good. And then it gets to then it gets the deeper meaning of, he starts going, but you're not gonna have fun. You're gonna have to do this for experience. You need us, and then it becomes, you start questioning. You start thinking, well, why do I want to not enjoy my time?
Fucking facts.
Trying to build a portfolio when you can do it. I think a lot of people can do it. I mean, you're doing it yourself without.
I did it myself. Yeah. So, bit of context. What he said, what Ryan said, the same thing happened to me, but on a different occasion because he's a year below me, and obviously I'm in my final year, so I'm about to finish off university soon. But what you mentioned, like, I did it on my own, which is true because in the university you can book out equipment. So the cameras that we're using right now is Canon C100s. We're using two for obviously two people. You can book that out and you could just like call up a local business, be like, yo, can I make a video for you? You could do it for free. Just pay for my expenses. I want like travel. And be like, yeah, sure. Because there's plenty of businesses that need videos. And it's not cheap. This shit is not cheap at all. And obviously you have to take time to hone your craft and whatnot. So if you're getting a call saying, you'll do it for free, be like, oh, okay, I mean, fuck it, he's a student. Why not? So that's what I did. I just went out there and did my own thing. And because it just taught me experience. It just taught me the marketing side as well. Because a load of filmmakers be like, oh, I can make great films. Is anyone watching it? Does anyone care? It's as rough and rude as it sounds. Because imagine spending 2 years or a year on a film and it gets 5 views. That would be crushing. Anyone, I'm sorry, people can say I don't care about the money, I don't care about the views. Even though I don't care about the views as much, I would rather have my shit get loads of views. So what you said about a certain somebody being very toxic, obviously it happened to me as well. And it happened outside of the building whatsoever. Because usually people like that, their whole idea of helping the youth. Apologies for not mentioning names, by the way. It's we got to be a bit sly with it. But people like that, you got to watch out because they don't care about you. They even admit it themselves, and the reason why they don't is because they only say that because they want you to work for free. Because why would they pay some 30-year-old guy to do a running job when they can just get a student for free? Because students have to work for free for the most part.
We won't question it and suck it up, don't we?
You just question it and you just wonder like, I'm not being respected. Like, is this what the film industry is like? And it turns people off from being a filmmaker. It turned me off as well. But then I said to myself, this is the only thing I got. People can leave you. People can change. But art and creating shit, that shit will never go away. Like, at all. So, toxic people like that, they don't care about young people. They just care about, like, boosting themselves up just to make sure that they make a great product at the end of the day. And of course, they can advocate. You can advocate all you want for ethnic minorities, LGBTQ, all that kind of stuff. But if it doesn't show within your values and who you are as a person, we're gonna see through it. Young people, we're not as stupid as you think you are. Just clarify, we can see through bullshit because, the internet. We can psychoanalyze people's behavior. We can see, we can find out.
Yeah.
You get a rough feel of who they are. Like, we can think of if you just go through someone's Twitter, for the most part, not my Twitter because my Twitter is mostly dead. You can see what politicians they support, what communities they're in, who they hate, what kind of person they are, their favorite musicians. You can literally find out their age, their birthday. You can find out so much about them, and you don't even have to meet that motherfucker at all, which is fucking crazy. But do you think, obviously, with that experience, did any of your peers feel the same way, or was it just you?
Yeah. Initially, I didn't even notice how I felt. So one of my mates I was with at the time, who was there at the meeting, he wasn't buying it from the get-go.
Is this someone I know?
This is Rad.
Shout out to Rad again. I knew he's a real motherfucker.
And he was literally like, I'm just gonna say it right now that I can see through the lies of his facade, and I think that happens a lot in the industry. A lot of people have a fake kind of persona.
That's what I mean. Everyone's trying to be good people, but are you real?
Are they just trying to get money so that they can provide for their family? Like, that's the thing, though. I think people aren't I think there's evil people, but they still have their own drive. So like he might not be thinking he's a toxic person. These people probably don't think they're being toxic.
No.
They just think this is the most efficient way to run a business. And I think that's how I can cope with it. I realize that, okay, it's something personal. I guess you've got to suck up in that sense. At least that's what I came to the conclusion to.
But from my end, I got nothing much else to say. Obviously, we talked about dating, career, toxic people in the industry, and obviously we're both on the same. We're very obviously not the exact same path, very similar paths, and we're both just gonna rise up and obviously take over, man. We're just gonna have to fucking do it,
It's
man.
gonna be good.
It's gonna be great. But if one last thing I want to say is, if someone's listening right now or watching, and they're struggling mentally, what would you say to them?
Without pushing your thoughts, that whatever negative thoughts in like that's going through your head, like occupy your thoughts with, just be active, like just occupy your thoughts constantly. Don't have days where you just sleep in. If you don't have a set plan, usually for me, I don't know if it's for everyone, but I've noticed for me anyway, you can easily get into a spiral and a circle of, especially at uni as well, of just scrolling through social media and that being the only interaction you have. Like, I think going out there and speaking to actual humans really, like, unless
it's real.
It's really, it can really enable you mentally. And I think it's quite refreshing to speak to people and just being active. I think that's the main thing that's got me through lockdown anyway. Because lockdown's just,
It's a fucking endless loop. Feeling sorry for yourself, man.
Yeah. It's just, and it can very easily create like a trap. And I think by the time you come out of lockdown, you're talking about burnout. You can have burnout for doing nothing.
That's very true.
Because mentally you're just strained. If you're dealing with yourself, you don't realize it, but your brain's just like fried. Because
your brain has nothing to do.
And
it's just on flight mode right now.
So it just thinks about, I don't know, whatever thoughts are going through your head and manipulates it.
100%. Because you mentioned a circle. Well, you mentioned talk to people. Your circle is a reflection of who you are, whether you like it or not. You may not realize it, but it subconsciously influences your behavior. Because if you're around 5 toxic people, ding, 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 you're going to be a fucking toxic person, you know? Chances are you'll be a toxic person, not 100%. So obviously we have our own individual personality traits and genetics and all that kind of stuff. And when you mentioned do something, be active, you got to remember that there's always great things happen after pain. So even in simple things, so if you exercise, you'll be in pain. It's fucking tough doing exercise. But the payoff, you feel fucking good. And also you'll look good as well. And you just glow. You just feel better about yourself. So to those who are struggling right now, just be active. And obviously it's hard, it's easier said than done. But one step at a time. If you woke up, make your bed. That's it. Or if you if you have a notepad and pen, write down your thoughts. You'll be very surprised how much effect writing down your feelings and thoughts can happen just by writing it down. You'll be very surprised on the benefits as well, especially doing it regularly, just venting out on the paper. Not only will be great, but by the long term, you can look back at it 6 months' time and be like, oh, this is how I felt. I'm great, I don't feel like that anymore because you got it all out and you were more reflective on your behavior and whatnot. But Ryan, thank you very much for going on the podcast.
Nice.
Man, this was a great conversation. I just want to say, I hope things go well for you and whatnot. Obviously, there's going to be a load of leeches in the industry. Too many leeches on the industry and people that will use you. And if you're a filmmaker out there and you're listening, just be careful because there are people that will try to ruin you, people that will try to jack your shit. But if you stay real, then people will know, who to side with. Definitely. So, man.
Thanks, man.
No,
I've loved it.
Man, it's good.
It's good.
Man, I appreciate it, man. Is there anything else you want to say? Like, do you want to plug your social media in or anything?
No, it's not built yet.
Soon.
Maybe next year.
Next year, we'll do a 1 year anniversary. But man, just thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
It's all good. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed watching this or listening to this episode of Red Podcast, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, or if you're just on iTunes TV or Spotify and whatnot, be sure to tell me your thoughts. What do you think of Ryan's episode? Like, do you like it? Is there anything you want to talk about for next episode? And ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you guys until next one. Peace. Bang!